This is Anthony Gray. Welcome to another episode of Grayscale Painting. Please forgive the droning of the fans. I've probably toned it down a little bit by the time this gets into editing. But it's a little warm in here, so that's why you hear the fans. Alright. Last week, we've shown you how to draw a cabin using the perspective way to do it. It's a little more exact. Then I freehand a lot of the obvious details. Then I masked the whole cabin using 2-inch masking tape. So right now we're going to fill this canvas, or this canvas full of color. Okay, so when you peel off the cabin, it looks like a black and white photo. Okay, all right, so for the sake of this tutorial, I will purposely make this kind of a colorful piece, more or less, with the foliage. All right, okay, I'll probably push this up a little bit. We're going to concentrate a little on the sky, so we'll kind of move it right there. All right, let's look down at the palette for 1 second. Yes, we actually have a clean palette today. We got some burnt umber, ultramarine blue, cad red, sap green, titanium white, actual real titanium white this time. I looked at the tube before I purchased it. And we got cad yellow over here in the corner. All right, alrighty. So we'll get down to the festivities. I'm probably going to have the sky a little bit on the plain side because you're going to have a lot of trees and whatnot in the background, so the sky doesn't have to be too detailed. All right, and we're going to get right on to it. I'm just trying to look for my do-all brush. I just found it. This is just I'll show it to you on the upper screen here. It's just one beat down 2-inch wide flat brush that I use for just about everything if I have to do broad strokes or whatnot. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit of vegetable glycerin. Now I use heavy body acrylic paint. All right, a very little bit of glycerin will do you. And I'm mainly going to just cover up the sky here, or the area that will be the sky. This is 11 by 15-inch watercolor paper. I do a lot of my tutorials on watercolor paper. It's cost effective, and it's a pretty decent size. Okay, you don't need too much glycerin, really. Like I say, this is just going to be to blend the sky. Like I say, pretty much a kind of a plain sky, nothing really in depth to the sky, because there's going to be a bunch of trees surrounding this area around the cabin. All right, okay, I want a gradual sky, I suppose, so I'll just dip my brush, just the corner of the brush, into some titanium white, and pretty much from the bottom up by the top here, and really on the bottom, I'll just kind of keep it in this area like that. And what I'm going to do is mix that blue. It's going to mix into that white, basically. All right, so I'm not going to wash the brush. I'm going to go into a little bit of this blue, only the corner of the brush. It's ultramarine blue. It's pretty powerful blue. All right, I'm going to go from the corner. Okay, right from the corner, go on the other side, right from the corner. And I'll just kind of mix it mix right into that white there, just like this. All right, come on the other side, do the same thing. Just blend it right in. Okay. Like so. You can take a large makeup brush. This one's very large. And you can do circular motions, which is what I like to do. All right, and I'll just take it very gently. Don't press too hard, very gently, and you're just blending out the strokes. It's going to give you some gradual tones and whatnot as you're doing it. The more you press, the more it's going to blend. Keep it in that circular type motion. Okay. It ended up looking like that. We're going to do the same procedure on the other side. Now, when you start doing stuff like this, you just pretend the cabin or whatever you mask is not there. Act like it doesn't even exist. Just completely ignore it. And do your circular motions. The more you press, the more it will blend. Okay. And in this case, it'll blend more into the white. Okay. And you can control how much of this glow that you want. No worries. Now obviously you see the two lines here. Have no worries. Usually that happens if you kind of stroke a little hard or whatever. It's bound to happen probably. All depends. So it wasn't planned for that to happen, but it's okay. But as you can see, you get this kind of soft blended in sky. Now I'm not worried about the striations here. They'll probably be covered up by trees anyway. All right, this is why the sky is kind of nondescript, not really, any big deal as far as the sky is concerned. All right. Okay. Now, depending if you're going to use this brush again, I would just wash it off, So I forgot, I want to mix a pretty decent dark color, so I guess I'll use a little bit of, use a nice swath of blue here. I'll put it over here on this side. A little bit of blue, a little bit of that nice dark umber, and get a little bit of red. The red's gonna make maroon with that blue, and then our brown's gonna deepen both of those. Now, to what degree you want this is really up to you. Like I said, I just want a nice foundation color for the dark. And remember, when you're doing this, it's going to tend to, acrylic paint tends to dry flat. So it's going to dry darker than what it appears. I'll probably need a little bit more than this, I'm thinking. But as of right now, what I have is going to be fine. I'm going to take a sponge, regular sea sponge. Okay. Now I can either do it dry or I can do it wet with the sea sponge, but I'm going to get some very interesting tree patterns with this sponge. I think I should get some more of this mixed. That's truly not enough. I can tell right now it's not enough, so I'm gonna get me some more. Let's make a bigger batch of this. So it's more brown, a little more blue, a little touch of red in there. So I'm gonna mix up a larger batch of this brown, dark browny blue. Mix it in there pretty good. I wanted a nice solid deep color, and since I'm using a sponge with it, I don't want any streaks. I need a nice powerful color there. And you bunch it up together, wipe it off of your blade. That should be more than enough. I will saturate my sponge with this color, and you can see by the patterns there what it's going to look like. All right, and it's soaked in pretty good there. All right, let's go up here. Let's make interesting tree shapes, and you're going to do very interesting clumps. Now you see those two blurred, those two marks there. You can just see that tap. You see this? And this is basically what I'm looking for. Okay. Go right into where the cabin is, act like it's not there. Now as I'm doing this, the clumps are going to get thicker as we go further down. I'll just keep tapping it like that. See, you want some of that blue to show through. Okay. I'm pretty good with that. I'm happy with that. Come down a little bit like this. See, instant deciduous, the look of instant deciduous trees. Okay. Let's come from the there, like that. We'll kind of go up and around like this, like that. And I'll just take it. I'll twist the sponge around, and I'm turning the sponge as I'm doing this. I want it solid here. Keep it pretty solid here. And you have them break up the top, but keep it fairly solid down here. As far as the land goes itself, we can mold that a little later on. But just like so. All right. Now, when it comes to adding your greens to this, you can pretty much use the same thing. Okay, and you just get interesting little clumps of color going on, but we're not really going to concentrate really on green. We'll probably put some other colors there, but I do need the darkness represented. We're going to coat all of this with fair amount of the same color, more or less, because I can always build upon that. So once again, looking down here, I'm getting more blue, more red, more of the darker umber. And this is a good framework for the ground down there. And basically, I'll just block all of that in, because I can determine where I want to really put the land, where I want to put the other shrubs and such. So no real bother. I'm just blocking in the ground area. No big deal. Just block it right in. Like I say, we're going to build upon all of this anyway. It does not have to look super pretty. You're just blocking everything in. I'm using the different variances of the blue, black, and brown. And no medium, just the raw dark paint, because I want it to dry quickly. This is acrylic paint. I want it to dry rather quickly, so no glycerin or anything is really needed at this stage. It's just me just blocking in the color. More brown, more blue, a little touch of red in there. It's going to dry up. Gives you a nice foundation to put whatever color you want on it. All right, I just want to get rid of all of that white down there. And there you have it. That's all I need. Now we can build everything you want to build right with this foundation. Okay. All right. And like I said before, I mentioned before, I purposely want to add a lot of color to this just to emphasize the black and white nature that this is going to have in a few minutes. Let's go back up for a second. I'm going to take a small brush, a small flat brush like this, and we'll just take a little bit of yellow. Come down here, look at me. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of that brown and that yellow. Mix it in there. Slight touch of blue is going to turn it green. We're going to add some white to that, gray it back out. Just like that. Try to get yourself a nice batch of it. Come back up to the palette real quick, and we'll throw in some branches in there. The branches don't have to be perfect, just a symbol of some branches going on in there. Okay, if it's not as bright as you would like it, just take a little bit of white, add some white to this. As you see, it gets a very interesting kind of a gray color, and you can brighten it up a little bit, throw some brightness in there, just like so. You don't need too many of these, Come on the other side, pop a couple in there like that. I'm just getting a little more white, just a little more paint really. Let's dip a little bit of water in there, loosen up the paint, so we can get it to travel a little bit. Come back around here. Add some more. Maybe a little branch up there. Like I say, just a few. Okay, that's all. Let's go right back to our sponge. I'm going to take the sponge, we'll kind of curl that sponge up fairly decent like that. All right, let's go into a little yellow. We'll just use the sponge. Go into a little bit of yellow. Pop the yellow right here. Go into a little touch of blue. Stir it in there. So you get that deep green there going on. See that? See that nice deep green? And we'll just kind of pop in. Very light touch. See this? You see what's happening there? And I'll give a couple batches of green in there. Make them very airy. And you still want to give the appearance that, you know, little birds can still fly through there. Right down by the land, by the ground, again, kind of make it a little heavier of green. Right down here, just a couple of nice strong touches of green in there. Okay. Then once again, kind of tap very lightly. Tap in some patches of green. Just like that. All right. Okay. I'm gonna clean off my brush real fast. Let's add some other colors in there. Probably a little bit of maybe a little orange or a little red, something like that. Some different colors. And what I'm gonna do, look down at the palette. I'll just scrape up the rest of what I have. Now what you're gonna get is a stained piece of paper. And it's okay. Let's go for a lighter color. Still use the sponge. All right, we're gonna dip into a little bit of white. We'll put the white right here. Slap some yellow in that white. See that? And then maybe a slight touch, a little baby touch of red in there. Mix it right in together. Now what I'm gonna do is go into my water, just a small touch of water, because a thin paint sticks to a thicker, tackier paint. All right. Okay. Now look at this for a pattern, and we're gonna use this for some nice colors up here. A slight touch. Look, slight touch, just like that. Come around in here by the roof itself. Come down, add a few colors in there. Come down in here. See this? See how you can just gently add some of those colors in there? Not necessarily getting rid of all of that green. You can come over here and do the same thing. Nice heavy patch of color there. I'm just taking the sponge, I'm turning it around, and get some of those. And you leave a little bit of dark in there. Okay, because it makes these colors pop out a little bit more. I'll come over here to the side, just like that. I don't have to overdo it at all. In case I want something a little brighter, and it's gonna shell in the house fairly decently. All right, that's really it. Okay, okay, let's go back to cleaning. I'll take I'll take one of these guys. This is obviously, we all know whose brush that is, right? But I'm gonna take it, we'll flatten it out, and we're gonna get some nice manicured type grass going on. So we're gonna take this camera, we're gonna come down a little bit, right around in here. Okay, so we're gonna transform all of this. Now we're gonna get a nice blanket of green of some sort. Let's get some green. Now with a brush this size, it does require a lot of paint. Okay, I got a little bit of green. Let's darken that green with just a touch of red. We'll mix that in there. Just deepen it a little bit. And you see I'm pulling it. I'm flipping the brush around. I'm pulling it towards me. Okay. I'll get a slight touch of yellow. A little touch of white just to lighten it up just a little bit. And put it in the bristles there. I'm flattening this brush. Give it a little pounce there. And we're going to get nice little patches of this green going on in here. And we'll establish where the ground is with it. Okay, right back here, establish a little groundwork right here. I don't have to add any medium or anything to this. It's pretty much dry on wet on dry. And I'll just kind of sprinkle in some nice greenery in here. And I'm just gonna blanket this deep color. Not necessarily gonna get rid of all of that maroonish brown that we have, but just kind of pop a little bit of this green in there. We'll probably put some bluebells in this, but I'm just establishing a little bit of, once again, just a little bit of the greenery. You're not gonna see too much of this until I start highlighting. Okay, so once again, I am getting the groundwork, the base color work for this. We're gonna have a little path going through here too. Right now, that's not my concern as of yet. I just wanna put a little bit of this deep green in here. I'm getting some more, a little bit of green, a little touch of red, a little smattering of yellow. Knock some blue in there to bring that green back. The reason why I use a small color palette is because when it comes to mixing the colors, all right, you don't have a lot of guesswork. Can you use another brush or a larger brush for this? You most certainly can. All right, you definitely can. But remember, I'm using brushes kind of conducive to the size of the paper that I'm using. So, okay. So as you can see, we got our greens in here. I didn't really put any hills or anything. That can come in the highlighting if that's what you're looking for. Okay. Okay. Let's take a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white in that yellow, just like that. A small touch of sap green. We're gonna bring some of that green back, just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna start to kind of lighten up some spots there. I'll kind of drag this brush a little bit, just to kind of narrow those bristles. Okay, up to you. Where do you want your light source? You got a dark part of a cabin and you got the light part of the cabin. Okay, I guess we'll have the light part of the cabin come over here on this side. Why not? All right, so I'll establish a little bit of some of that light grass. As you see, it's just a small touch. Okay, establish where things are a little bit. Interesting little patterns and pockets of green. You get a nice little bunch and you travel a little bit, like this. Come on here, a little stronger. Okay. I'll come out here a little bit, just like that. You can tease a little bit on the other side if you want. Not too much. It's mainly up on this side to do all of that. Like so. But as you can see, I don't want nothing really hilly. It's rough looking, but nothing really too hilly. Okay. So we'll establish that the lighter area is here. A little darker over in here on that side. All right. Now we can have it travel around this way a little bit. Get interesting little groupings and patterns going. All right. Okay. Now the same care, the same type of strategy you use for that light green color, if you want to add, like I said, I want to add a little more color, some bluebells. So let's take once again, a little bit of white, pop it right in there. A little touch of blue, not much, just like that. Let's establish some bluebells around in here somewhere. Let's start maybe around in here. We'll pop some bluebells in there. Just like that. Kind of come on in here. Come on here a little bit. Kind of put them in there. Nice little patch of. Put them into the green a little bit. Have it melt into the green a bit. Just like that. Some bluebells. Keep them in a nice tapping motion. All right. Come on here a little. Come on out here. Sneak some of them out here. Okay. But obviously the majority of them are on one side. Down here in the corner, like so. And we're gonna get a little red. The red, I really don't have to nurture any color into it, not necessarily. The red kind of pops out like a banshee, so. And let's throw let's throw a little bit of fire in there. Just like that. Maybe we'll kind of tease some of that in here, but we'll pop some of that red out here. You can put a few of them, trickling around in here on the sides back here. But I just kind of want to put some of those firebrands out there a little bit. Just like that. Kind of gives, you got these little flower things happening. Kind of gives a little of a manicured look to them. I'm going to get a little bit of yellow. A little bit of white. And add a nice little glow, because you still want to represent the lit half of the house. So we'll kind of pop some of these in there. A little bit of glow. Usually where it's red at, you can pop a few of these in there. Have them kind of join each other. Interesting little pockets, nice little groupings. All right. I don't have to add too much more to this. I think what we got here is pretty good. There. And leave it like that. At this stage, you can start establishing kind of what you looking for your shrubs and trees and where you want to place certain things. All right. I'm gonna take a larger palette knife here. I'm gonna use a little bit of this color. Scrape it up. I'm gonna get a little bit of this brown. Pop that brown in there. Hopefully I got enough. It don't look like I have enough. I might. We'll see. And then maybe right here, where the doorway is, what kind of establish a quick little path here. And I'm just going horizontal. I kind of have it come this way. It gets a little larger as you get closer. Now, you don't really see it yet, but you will. You will once I highlight some of this, you'll start to see it. Come this way. And I'm just getting a nice groundwork. Go horizontal. It gets larger as you get closer. Okay. Now, like I said, you may not see that too well, but you will once I highlight it. I'll get a little bit of yellow, a little touch of white. We'll add some highlights to that. It's mixing in with my brown. So I got brown, yellow, white going on in there. Now, there's no glycerin or anything, no medium like that. And you've already established texture with the brown. Okay, and so you just want to kind of highlight a few things on this. From left to right, obviously it gets a little larger as you keep going forth with it. Don't worry, you can always shape this. Go from the horizontal, go from the left to the right. Like I say, a nice little path right in here. Really expand it. It gets larger as you go forth with it. I'll expand it here at the corner, and then we'll kind of increase it here like that. I can use the flat part, the smaller part of the palette knife, and just come here to by the edge of the door, kind of solidify that path going on there. Okay, all right. Let's take. I get to do this while we're still in this stage. I'm gonna get a little bit of brown. Put it right there, a nice chunk of brown. Put some red and blue in that brown. Spread it out pretty good. A little bit of blue in that brown. Spread it out. Keep it fairly dark. See that? Keep it fairly dark. Okay, let's get a nice swath of color there. All right. Let's put a little bit of love. We'll put a little bit of love right about there, and put a nice one right here, a larger one there, like that. Okay. And then we'll pop another one right here. Have it come down a little bit. So we got our little posts. Okay. We'll put one right here, like that. Put another one in there, a smaller one there, and we'll continue it on the other side. We'll come about this way, and we'll put one right around here. We'll put a giant one right here. And put some size to them right in here, like that. We got a nice one right there, getting some more dark, and we'll put a bigger one right here, just like that. So we're establishing the post right now. I don't want to go too far because I have to go on top of the drawing there. I'm gonna get a little bit of white. Spread that out. Get a nice little cut across. We'll establish some. There we go. Come on down like that. So we're pretty much establishing where some of the highlights are on these guys. Bring it right on across there. Kind of move it across. It's starting to look like an old oil painting. Like I say, we're just kind of establishing things here and there of where we want our patterns, where we want the little, walking path to be, more or less. Okay. I think I'm gonna throw a nice dark bush in there. Why not? Let's go into we'll use the same round brush. We'll establish a nice bush in here, right in this area, just to kind of fill that up a little bit. Let's go into our brown, right here. A little bit of blue, right in here. A little bit of red. Something deep right here, okay? A little touch of blue. Darken it up right there. I just want a nice dark bush. We're gonna represent one right in here. Just like that. It's getting a nice blob of dark. Okay. And we'll kind of maintain its little right here. Nice. That's all I need really. It's just a nice kind of just like that. Just right in there. Okay. All right. Let's establish a little bit of green, maybe, and a little bit of yellow, and a little touch of white. Stir it around. Small little taps, and we're gonna establish. We'll establish this fella right around in here like this. Now, as I'm doing these light touches, right? Don't neglect that dark. Don't block out all of that dark. See this? And we're gonna come around in here. I'm just doing playful little taps. I don't want to get rid of all of that dark. All right, let's take a little bit of red. A little red, a little yellow. A little bit of white. Kind of brighten that up a little bit. A little stronger red. Just like that. And let's hit some highlights on that brush. Up around in here. And nice little patch of red right in here. Oh, a little bit of that out here. And what you want to do, get those interesting clumps of red in there. But you don't want to kill off all of your dark. Okay. I'm going to clean off my brush real fast. Actually, not even brighter red. Let's go with yellow and white. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of titanium white, and a very light touch. See that? In a circular pattern, if you can. Interesting clumps, just to kind of shell out and frame your bush a little. See this? Come out here a little bit. Really frame it on the top there. You know, just to let you know, I'm here. All right, so it's just a little separation. All right, and that's all you need. Don't add too much. All right, you already got a nice little firebrand right there. We're pretty close to done with this. Doing it this method with the sponge really helps speeds up the process. Got a more of a natural look. Of course, you're only looking at the bottom half. I didn't bring you okay yet. So let's peel back this cabin. Be very careful. I'll use the palette knife this time. I'll just pull back. Now I'm going to give a slight pull and lift. All right. Remember, I sketched this out with pencil, and then after that, I just did the filling in with a permanent marker. Be very careful. Now on canvas, you can just peel this stuff right off. Right now, I'm using watercolor paper, so I don't want to tear into anything and rip pieces of paper off. So it's a pull lift method, and everything should pretty much just come right off. Now, as you can see, it looks like a black and white photograph surrounded by all of the color. Let's get the focus in there for a second there. All right, so you see up above, I'll pan it. As you can see, it just kind of really just sits right out there. And now our main focus really is just to, as you can see down below here, incorporate that black and white looking photograph type of sketch. You want to incorporate this into the rest of the painting. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, this is going to be a little different. I did this a few years ago. Excuse my head. Did this a few years ago, incorporating a glazing method, okay, to where you would use more glaze than paint to the color in a subject. All right, and we'll do that with this one also, and then we're gonna incorporate the surroundings into the cabinet so that it belongs into the picture. Right now it literally sticks out like a sore thumb. Okay, now if you look down at the palette, I've already established a nice cabin color all to itself already. All right, I'm going to use a 1/2 inch brush. This is a perfect color for that cabin. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into my vegetable glycerin, which I have, and I'm going to put it right here. I'll put it right here on the corner. Now, vegetable glycerin will take this paint and make it very transparent. All right, so you can use layer after layer after layer of color with this glycerin. Okay, as you can start to see that weird purple brown color, which would be great for this cabin. All right. This is really the easiest part of the painting. We established that the light side of this cabin is right here facing us. All right. This is going to be the darker part of the cabin, so we'll just use this color and establish it as the darker part of the cabin. And basically, as you see me doing, it's really just filling in color. Okay, now remember, this is very transparent. All right, it's more glycerin than paint. Okay, and that's basically all it is. And you just add, you just keep adding your bits of glycerin to it. Now, if you feel that, that's all I'm doing. I'm adding glycerin to this color. Okay, now if you feel you may have added too much deep color, you can always take it off. Just by using water. Believe it or not, it's just that simple. Now you can incorporate other colors into this while you got this glycerin on, and so you can really sneak in different colors. You sneak in orange, yellows, greens, blues, or whatever into your painting. Okay, because this glycerin is still wet, and so the paint's still movable, and you can do all of this with relative ease. I'll sneak in a little touch of red in there. See how you can pop that red in there? Look at this. See that? You sneak that red in there. You can sneak green. You know, the colors will mix together. Okay. I'll take a little corner of green. We'll throw some green in there. See that green in there? See how you can pop that green in? It looks like algae or whatever. It can look like aged wood. It's really up to you. Or you can use a little bit of green to kind of dye down some of that red. So as you can see, I can keep adding all sorts of slick little colors in there. Okay. As I'm doing this, if you feel that you can darken up, you want to darken up some spots, then darken up some spots. If you want to lighten up some spots, lighten some spots. It's really up to you, but look at the colors. See how they just kind of melt and fade in there. And remember, this paint is still kind of wet. You can still move it around, do all sorts of little tricks with it. It's really, really, really up to you. Let's take a little corner of blue paint, little corner, and you start adding cute little shadow areas in there, up top there. See that? And you can kind of bring it down. So you can easily establish depth into your cabin. See that? And it's not overpowering. You're not overpowering anything. See that? Okay. Like I say, we could represent that as the dark half of the cabin. All right, let's establish the light half of the cabin. What it just entails is more glycerin and less paint. Same color, just less of the pigment. We'll start right from here. Same color, guys. Less, it's just less pigment. With more glycerin, less pigment. Remember, it makes the glycerin will make this stuff transparent. And as you laying down your foundational work for your cabin, you can add colors into this. Now you got a shadow part. That's where all that ink right here, the shadow part of the cabin, you just add a nice slight touch of whatever, brown, blue, whatever kind of floats your boat at this moment. Okay, I'll use a little bit of that brown. It's no big deal. We'll come in here and we'll add a little bit of that brown in there. Establish that shadow, just like that. See this? See how you smooth all that in there? Look at that. See how quickly you can do that? See that? So, have no fear. Hashtag don't panic. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the ride. Kind of like some of that brown. Let's tease some of that brown in here. Let's kind of put it in there in the corner there. Kind of snake that around. Just like that. Just like that. All right. Okay. Let's get a little touch of blue. We'll put the blue. We'll put the blue over here by that glycerin. Mix it in with that brownish color, just like that. Entirely up to you what you want to do for the entranceway, the doorway. I'm just gonna add a nice little deep little shadow color in there. That's like that. Pop it in there. Okay. And I'll take some of this brownish color and we'll kind of pop that in there like this. Add a curve. Glycerin expands when it dries. So if you see streak marks, trust me, they won't be around long. So you can incorporate little shadows in there. Come this way. All sorts of cutesy little things you can do. All right. We're getting a little bit of brown, just deep brown. And we'll come here and we'll kind of beef up that dark right here in that doorway. Just like that. I'll turn my brush around. You don't have to have, you don't have to necessarily use the 1/2-inch brush. If you don't feel comfortable using it, don't do it. Don't use it. Use a thinner brush. I'm just showing you the technique and how to do it. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So it's really your prerogative of how much of the glycerin you want to do, or how much of the regular paint you want to do. Up to you. Really, your prerogative on how you want to do your cabin. Okay. Truly up to you. I can add, we'll play around with a little bit of dark right up in here. Just a little bit. And then I'll take nothing but glycerin and I'll just kind of wash that along right out in here. Do the same thing on this side. Just coat it with a little bit of glycerin. I'm gonna go with the yellow. I'll pop that yellow in there just like that. Pop some yellow in there. Just like so. Okay. Over here on the other side, do the same thing. Pop some yellow in there. So it looks like you got something lit right in there. Just like that. So there's somebody living in there, right? I'm going to take my same my same flat brush. If you got something with a pretty decent edge to it, you're able to get away with it. I'll get a little bit of glycerin here. And then I'll just come here to the door and I'll just add some kind of striations to the door here. If you can get away with it. I probably need more paint than anything here. I'll just create some dark. I think that will do it, just like that. I think I can get away with it with this. A couple of touches in there. A couple of taps there. Just a different pattern for the door. Just like that. All right. Okay. All right. Let's use some of this for the roof. At least the lining of the roof anyway. Just like that. And you gotta come on the other side, do the same thing. Color it right in there. Don't be bashful. Put it right in there. Yep, I'm doing it right for the other side also. Just like that. Nice worn look to this guy. Let's take a little touch of white with this funky colored brown. Turns it into some kind of gray. I want to get a little glycerin for this part because I want it a little transparent. And we'll kind of give those bricks a little love in here. Just like that. So be careful using white because white tends to make everything a little chalky, especially titanium white. So just be mindful of that. Now we're almost at the hour mark. Now I'm doing this unedited, so yeah, it's going to be pretty close to the hour mark. Obviously, this is the dark part. And we're going to do it as such. There. Okay. I can add a few little, little things in here to kind of rough that up on that side a little bit. Let's tease a little bit of this is dry brush. And I'm going to tease a little green. Let's tease a little bit of red in there. Just a little bit. I'm going to tease some of that red up in there too, like this. Something like that. Yeah, why not? Pop some yellow in there. It is the lit side, so let's represent. Something like that. Just put it right in there. No glycerin, it's just paint smudged on there. All right. Okay. Let's take some red, a little touch of red, a little touch of green, mix it in there. A little more green and red, mix it in there, just like that. Now I'm going into my glycerin, using plenty of it. Okay, there it is, right here. Maybe a little touch of blue to maroon it a little bit. Now remember, glycerin is transparent. Okay. Okay. And we're gonna come right here and get this transparent color. Look at this. Put it over everything. Glaze it all. That color, this color that I'm putting on here will kind of unify everything that I've just done. When it dries, you'll still notice the yellow and the reds and the greens that are in this, but it's now being glazed over. So this whole cabin is nothing but a glaze. See this? Now remember, when it dries, as this stuff dries, it expands your paint. So don't worry about streaks, don't worry about brush marks. It expands this paint when it dries. Okay. Hey, remember this is the lit half that I'm painting here. So yes, it's going to be a little. The colors will be a little bleached out where the sun's hitting. So like that. Okay. Just like that. I'll add a little bit of that love down here too. Just like that. Add some of that love over there. 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 See that? Alrighty. As I'm looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, I can probably skate by some more, probably a little glycerin and some blue, straight blue, because I want a little deeper shading on the other half, on the other side here. So it's just a little bit of blue. You're not getting rid of your reds or anything. I just want a deeper kind of a shading for the other part of the house, just to kind of bring it a little more shade in it. That's all. You can be extremely picky and do really what you will. Okay. I kind of like that. Let's get a little more of that ultramarine blue, a little more glycerin. Now you can use a bigger brush for this. Up to you. Like I say, this stuff's transparent. If you feel it's too much, then don't do it. But let's, it is the shadow side of the house, so let's expand on that. Bring some of that shadow this way. See that? Yep. Put it right over everything. And it's just a little bit of blue cast. A little bit of a blue cast over some of the outside there. Just like that. Just darken it. Put a little very gentle blue cast. Okay. That's all. Very nice little cast of blue there. Okay. Just to bring forth some of that shadow. All right. Okay, let's incorporate some bushes up around here. After I do one more thing, this is some of the fun part you can do, a little sneaky stuff you can do. Let's go. You're looking at me here down here. I add a little yellow and white, just a little bit, very, very soft, yellow and white. Watch what I do. Very delicate. You don't have to add too much. I'm gonna use the side. All right, and we'll get a little cute little angle there. And believe it or not, you wouldn't believe how much more extra white you would need to pull this off. All right, but just be careful. Very light touches. See that? You see what's going on there? You don't need too much. Don't add too much. We can probably put a little bit out here. Have it come outward like this. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You don't need too much to emphasize that. Okay, let's add some cute little bushes or whatnot to this. I don't need a really big brush for this. A small brush like that will do. Once again, let's get a little bit of maroon going. It's just a deep red and blue. I'll probably pop some green and kind of kill some of that. And you just want to add I don't know, just add a little bush or two right up in here, right up against the side there. Let's come over here to the corner. All right, we'll pop one right up in here. Just like that, have it come out a little bit. Now you're starting to incorporate. See this? Just a few bits of stuff just to add into the house itself. All right, let's get a little bit of green here, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of white. And just add some gentle touches. Remember, don't kill all your darks. See that? Take it and go up a little bit. Come up here. Pop in a few bits of love there. Up in here, do the same thing. I'm still checking it out. I'm still looking to see what else I can add to this guy. The last thing I think I'll do is take a strip lighter, water, some of this nice titanium white, which is, like I say, extremely opaque. Get plenty of water. Once again, it adds to the dimensionality of your work. Let's pull this downward just a slight bit right here. Let's start from here. Nice little bright line. This is why you would need plenty of water. This is really thick paint, and I want these to be seen. Quite well. Actually, we can have this one go out like he's, and then this one go toward that way, like that. It is part of a path. Just like that. See that? I can either have it probably go this way. Get a thicker line, come on down, and it goes right off the page, just like that. See how I can help your eye travel? You see that? And let's have this one go probably pretty much the same way. Come here. It gets a little thicker. Travel right off the page. Now you have no choice but to look and to travel toward that house. See that? All right, let's pull back. She's definitely in there. And of course, I'll put my signature on this. I hope this helps you out. I'd love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. Is there something you'd like to see more of, less of? Would love to know. I enjoy spending this time with you guys. And there we go. All right. So last week it was the cabin. This week is the total painting, showing you how to incorporate your masked piece into the cabin. All right. My name is Anthony Gray. Thank you very much. I appreciate you watching, spending your time to watch. Love to see your rendition of this scene. And you can post it on the Facebook page. Until next time, I'll see you when I see you. Peace.